The meme coin market is not dead, but it is a little different. There's still a lot of money to be made trading meme coins. It's just not exactly the same as it was 3 months ago. In this video, we are going to go over some of the trades that I made that were good and some of the trades that I made that were bad. And I'm going to just discuss the mistakes that I made and good things that I did so that you can see how I am trading the meme coin market as of right now. And so to start, there have actually been a lot of meme coins that have done very well, including Routine, which is the coin that was made based off of the dude that did his morning routine. There was Ghibli, which is the coin that had to do with the entire Studio Ghibli trend that was going around on Twitter. And there's Titcoin, which is doing really well right now. And it just has to do with, well, what the name is. And so we're going to start this video by going over first trade, which is Country. So Country was a coin that I found and I entered around 1.45 million. And I saw it pop up and I thought to myself, like, what is this? Because it had a lot of volume. And so I went on Twitter and I looked it up, and sure enough, it was this new Twitter trend. And it's very similar to the trends that we saw with Routine and Ghibli and that kind of thing. And so you see like a lot of these random accounts that are getting tons of engagement, and it's just get me to God's country. And this is the whole trend. So I saw it and I pinged it in my Discord when I saw it because I was like, wow, this could be the next Routine or Ghibli. It's already getting posted by some bigger Web2 accounts, and I linked it. And then, like I said, I took a position in it and I actually sold with an average of 2.4 million. It ended up running to about 5, I think. So I definitely sold it too early. I left over $10,000 on the table, but I did make $4,000 being in this trade. And so I was really happy about that. Really, the reason why I made money on this was because I was sitting at my desk. I identified it pretty early and I went and I did my research. And I think the research part is something that a lot of people are failing to do. I think a lot of times what happens is people will either be tracking wallets or they'll wait for something to pop up that has volume, and they just won't do any sort of research on it whatsoever. And that is what, in my opinion, separates good traders from bad traders, because I went and I had to identify my thesis for this. Like, okay, this is running, but why is it running? So that was the situation with Country. Was happy about that. The next was this anime coin today. I made $2,400 trading this coin. And this was a coin that was actually similar to Ghibli, I believe, where there's this new thing where you could put a picture into Grok and it would like turn it into anime, right? And so there were a lot of people that were buying it. They were buying it and it ran all the way to 1.8 million. And then I decided that I was going to buy the dip here. So I bought this dip. It kept going lower, so I DCA'd a little bit lower. And then there was like a God candle because a wallet that I track, he ended up buying and then it mooned and I sold into his candle because he absolutely pumped the shit out of it. I actually traded this twice. So I put like a couple SOL in here and I tried to trade it and I didn't really like it. So I got out. So my entire 80 SOL that I bought into this wasn't all at the same time. But this was an example of how you can sometimes dollar cost average into coins. Like people always ask me, they'll say, why do you buy so many times? And it's like, because I don't like to just, if I'm planning on buying 50 SOL of something, I don't want to just buy it all at once. I like to spread it out so that, hey, maybe if it goes lower, I can get a better average lower. And if it goes higher, then I can just sell, because you don't really know what's going to happen all the time with these things. The thing is that dollar cost averaging these days is very sketchy. It is something that I have always done, whether it's like majors or meme coins or anything like that. And it has been a strategy that I have liked to use. The problem is that it doesn't really work as much as it used to, but I do sometimes go back to the old way that I like to trade, which is, oh, okay, this hit 1.8 million. It dumped all the way down to 600K. It should bounce. Now, there was another coin today, for example, this NMAX coin, where I lost $3,600. Why did I lose $3,600? Well, this was a coin that had to do with this NMAX stock that got listed. And this was yesterday. So apparently the price was $10 and then it mooned to $210 in like 24 hours. And so, of course, in the meme coin world, people decided that they were going to make a coin about it. I actually did trade this successfully. I bought it right around here and I sold it and I did make money on it, but I ended up buying back in because it mooned to 1.5 or 1.6 million. And I was like, okay, like this should bounce. So I ended up buying and I had an average of like 400K, but it just continued to dump and it continued to dump. And so I ended up losing money on this because I bought back in and because this coin really didn't have a bounce. It's hard these days because, for example, everyone needs to come up with their own strategy when it comes to trading meme coins. And what's funny is that these days, not every strategy is going to work exactly the same. And there is a lot of right place, right time that has to do with meme coins, because if you look at Country, for example, that was a coin where you could just buy it and it would just continue to moon. Like you just top blast and then it just kept on going up. Now, if this had dumped, I likely would have cut within like a 10 to 20% range of it going down. And then with this anime coin, I had an average, I believe, of like 800,000 and it went like a little bit lower. And I was about to cut this until this whale came in and saved me. And then here, it was the example of I bought and I kept dollar cost averaging over and over and over again, and I just got cooked. So there was just nothing really that I could do there. And the last coin that I wanted to show is Rick. So I made $1,100 on this coin. And oddly enough, this was a coin that just came up randomly. It had a lot of volume last night. I was sitting around, I was bored, whatever. So I saw it, and a lot of the wallets that I track were in it. It went up to like 275K. I decided to buy down here. I was like, oh, it'll probably bounce. And so I had an average of like 111K. And then what happens? This person named Gake ended up coming in, bought it, and then it mooned all the way to 450K. Now, I sold the minute that I saw this happen, but it was really nice that I was able to get out of this coin because like an influencer decided to go out and buy it. And so these days, if you're trading the meme coin market, there's a couple different things that you need to be doing. One, which is tracking Twitter. So you have to have a Twitter tracker so that you can see all of the things that are happening, because a lot of the coins that are running these days are very news based. Like they're very much so like this happened, or like with NMAX, like it was very much dependent on the stock, like, and people started talking about it. And so once everyone started talking about the stock, of course, they were going to make a meme coin about it. And then the other thing is having a list of wallets that you track. Now, I have a curated wallet tracker of accounts that I really like. Everybody that is a part of Canto Labs, which is my group, they all have access to the same wallet tracker that I do. And we constantly update it together as a group. One thing that I'll say about tracking wallets, especially today, is that just because you're tracking a wallet does not mean that you should copy trade it. What I personally would recommend is using a wallet tracker for Confluence. You want to see if there's a lot of different people, like big names, profitable traders that are in a coin, but that still means that you have to go out and do your own research about a certain coin, because if you don't, you can't just put all of your blind faith in saying like, oh, this person bought, I'm going to buy in because they do, because that's actually how most of the people that are trading this market right now are also thinking. And it matters a lot more so when people sell than when they buy, because yes, like, of course, if a coin is doing well and it's running and you know, oh, there's like a couple of people in, well, what happens when some of these big names start to dump their huge bags? A lot of times when people buy into a coin, they do it because they see somebody else bought into it. And then when people sell, the coin just dies because they're like, oh, this influencer sold, like I'm out. So there's a lot of different things that you have to do these days. But one of the biggest mistakes that I would say that I am personally making these days is that I am sizing way too hard into trades. And I actually think that these days it makes more sense to trade with less money and to try to hold a little bit longer rather than to be sizing into different coins. Because like at this point that I bought into this trade again, like I think I had like 70 or 80 SOL in it, like, and this was at 300K. So that was like a lot. And it was because I really thought that it was going to bounce. and it just didn't. So these days, I've actually been a lot more successful by just putting in whatever it may be, 5 to 10 SOL, and then scalping like 2 or 3 every trade. It's a lot safer considering that a lot of these coins, once they have their initial run, they just die, they don't bounce, and then you get stuck. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Per usual, join my group if you are still trading this market. I genuinely think that this is one of the best times to be trading the crypto market in general, because this is when a lot of people quit. And if you're sticking around right now, and if you're trading this market when everything is slower and it's a lot harder, when things do pick up, because they always will in one way or another, you will be prepared for it. And then a lot of the people that don't know what they're doing, they're going to eventually FOMO back into the market, and they won't know what they're doing, but we will, because we're still around and we're still grinding and we're learning how to trade during markets that suck. And this is what I was doing during 2023 when meme coins were popping off on ETH. And that was like during the whole Pepe run and all that kind of thing. So per usual, drop a like and a comment down below. It always helps with the video. Take it easy. See you guys in the next one.